Shalom, shalom. Let us know if we are live. If you can hear and see us. I'm not sure yet. Let us know. Let us know. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Please let us know if you have the sound, because yesterday I started the live stream and I forgot to plug it properly. So there was no sound like for 1 minute. Yay! Hello!
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom! So believe it or not, but we have never met before. I mean, this is the first time I see Tanya in person. We've been in touch for a long time because we have lots of common pains and aches and everything. So here we are. Probably we should show the tower like this. Yay!
Welcome to Tel Aviv. Yes, we haven't met before, but it actually feels like I'm with an old friend just from the first minute, and I'm not lying or anything. Anna has already shared her food with me and everyone else in Tel Aviv. She's an extremely friendly and warm in person, so I'm really excited about this tour. Let me know if you've joined our tours. And yeah, have you ever been to Tel Aviv or not?
Ooh. Yeah, multiple times. Actually, I studied my virtuals in Israel from the city where I used to live, which is Ashkelon, in the south of Israel. And yeah, Jaffa was the first one outside of Ashkelon. And this is actually where where I studied my very first tours. Let me show you around a little bit. And yeah, so you would know this is not a history tour. This is not. This is about the vibe. This is about how things are, the updates from Tanya, updates from me.
And I can introduce myself to those who don't know me. My name is Tanya. I'm a professional tour guide from Moscow, but I'm also an Israeli. My channel is Alternative Russia. It's about Russia generally. It's where I show a different perspective, but I also do tours around the world. I'm going to publish new videos on Israel, about supermarkets and everything. I made Aliyah, meaning I moved to Israel 10 years ago in 2014. And I left Israel about 7 years ago, and for the last 7 years I was living in Russia. So it's actually my kind of like first time in a while coming back to Israel, and Anna suggested to do this virtual tour in Jaffa, and she didn't know that it was actually my first address in Tel Aviv. It wasn't my first address in Israel because I actually lived in different cities. I had a family in a small town called Rehovot, but I also have special feelings for Jaffa because, yeah, when I was like a new immigrant with not that much money, but still, you know, young, creative, that was a perfect place to live here. And now, like strolling around the streets, I keep comparing Tel Aviv back and now, and I will be happy to share with you all of my thoughts about life in Israel. Yeah, so that is what this tour is going to be like.
Okay. We are tossing the microphone back and forth. It looks like I really gonna need to buy one more, but as you see, this wasn't really pre-planned. We really just chatted like yesterday or like the day before yesterday and agreed just to do this live stream. So it's totally spontaneous. We are spontaneous ladies. And since the story is about the vibe, I do believe that when you are in Jaffa, which is like, and everything you will see here is from the Ottoman period, which lasted for almost 400 years and finished in 1917 when the First World War was over. I promise I'm gonna cut down on boring stuff, but what you're gonna be seeing is the Ottoman architecture. Hi Dolly, good to see you. Hi everyone. It's not so easy to keep up with the chat, but I will be doing it from time to time. Also, before we begin, I would like to just point out one very important thing, because this is a double fun tour. This is a double fun. There are two guides together, and if you feel like supporting us, the link to support us is on the pinned comment, and this is my PayPal and my Buy Me a Coffee, but we're going to be sharing. So we're going to be sharing the tips 50-50, so you would know. And when you send the tips, please make a comment for Anya and Tanya so we would know exactly which tips are we need to share. That's just important so you would know. And since it's all about the vibe, let me go over the chat very quickly before we get down to something else. Tanya, are you in Israel for a short visit or stay?
So I'm here for almost a month, and I'm going to do some virtual tours and videos about it. So you can go to my channel, Alternative Russia, and subscribe to more virtual tours and videos where I'm actually going to talk about my life in Israel and and the story of some of the neighborhoods in Israel.
And are there ways to support you for what you do?
The links in the descriptions and my videos, like it's everywhere. I also have Buy Me Coffee, PayPal channels, and everything. And I think during this tour I'm going to tell you why I'm actually back to Israel. But I'm going to talk more about it on my channel as well. Yes.
And one more thing. As you know, this is not exactly the most peaceful time right now. So at some point you might actually hear the sirens, which is fine. Comes with the package.
It will be a historical tour for sure. And we both had many historical tours, and I'm not exaggerating.
And many sirens. So, not the first time, not the last time, apparently. So, okay, let's begin. So, since it's about the vibe, I want to take Tanya and myself and all of you to a very local place that actually has been here since the Ottoman period, since 1879. Amazing bakery, but we're not going to be having anything baked. We are going to be having no, there's only one. We decided to have only one Buy Me a Coffee and only one PayPal, because otherwise it would be a disaster. And that's why I would like to ask you to just leave a comment for Anya and Tanya, and then we will share. So just because we also thought maybe we include both Buy Me Coffees, but then we thought it would be just too much of a fuss for all of you.
Yeah, we think it will be easier for you instead of like going to two accounts. But in any case, you can go to my channel, and then on the next tour where I do, maybe with Anna, we will just do it through my account. Yeah. Let us also know if you want us to repeat a tour or do another tour.
Yeah, but I'm leaving tomorrow evening.
No, but we can do something.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to switch the camera. Like this. So, the old Jaffa, very old city. It's like really old. I'm not joking. At least 3,500 years. And exactly in this place, it's like a junction of everything. Old Ottoman architecture. Also, they're like it's like a place of where the three religions converge, because, well, we are we are in the first Jewish city that was built in the modern times. However, this part of it is from the Ottomans, and the buildings over here, by the way, they used to belong to a Greek Orthodox Church. So the three religions, the many peoples, the thousands of years converge in just one and the same place. And when you look for something authentic, it's not just about architecture, it's about the vibe. If the vibe is still here, right? So the vibe is still here, and we are going to see that very soon. So, Tanya, what was it like living in Tel Aviv?
Well, it depends on the city, but Tel Aviv was always my favorite city. I just want to add to like this neighborhood in Jaffa that originally Jaffa was the city and Tel Aviv didn't exist, and Tel Aviv was kind of like a suburb that took over the whole area. And the reason why I'm a big fan of Tel Aviv and I like it, as Anna says, it's because of the vibe. It's the word freedom and independence, and you can feel all around. And while I was going to this tour, I thought that, I don't have this feeling of people showing up in front of me as it's all around in Moscow. People like having Gucci brand, Prada and everything. And this is what I love about Israel. Like makes you feel as if you were at home. Or when I came back here, one of the things that I wanted to get was this kind of like frozen coffee. This is what I miss. And I went there and I asked for like iced coffee in Hebrew. I speak Hebrew a little bit. So it's called iced cafe. which is like iced coffee, but
But it's
like
not
yeah, but it's
coffee.
another one. Like they have cold coffee, and this is actually an Israeli cold coffee. It's a special thing. Let me know if you've tried it. In my opinion, it's way more delicious and interesting than just trying a regular one. But there is a special one that you can find, I think, only in Israel. It's this kind of coffee, but with pecan nut, which is my favorite nut. Have you tried it? Pecan
No.
iced coffee, no?
No.
And I
No,
remember that
never,
my favorite
never.
place was actually in Jaffa. So, yeah, I mean, it's not that easy to find it here, but it was so special. And, I became a fan of pecan also in Israel. Like, they make it a very nice roasted pecan.
Have you ever seen this
Здравствуйте.
gigantic rimonim?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
They're so huge.
I think they're called tmarim in tmarim. Tmarim. Is it tmarim in Hebrew?
It's dates.
Tmarim.
No.
No, limanim. Yeah, tmarim it's dates. Yeah, yeah. Okay, granat. Спасибо. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's a bit difficult, like when you don't practice the language for like 10 years, but it's pretty easy. Like when you hear words, you're like, oh yeah, that's the word. So yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of the vibe, so as I said, the Ottoman vibe. So and yeah, my Hebrew is also very lousy, like really lousy, and but I'm مستدارت. I really cope, but I know the language of food, and we are in the place called Abu Lafia. Actually, it's the name of a family, of the Arab family. It's one of the prominent families still in Israel, and this bakery is from the Ottoman times, and they have some of the best baked stuff you can find, and it also works 24/7. I want to show you. Oh God! Oh, what they have here! Ooh, this is Begli Yerushalayim.
And it's nice that everything is also in English.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But I mean, this is the famous Jerusalem bagel. It's not like round. It's like like I don't know what's the shape of it, like extruded. I don't know what's the. You see, it's like a little bit of an oval.
Yeah, it looks like an
hi,
oval.
can I have a sachle, please? Yeah, just one. Thanks. Everything. Yes. Yeah, I'm back. Hi. Hi. And oh yeah, they have this sambusak, which is kind of this savory pies, normally with sesame seeds. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, and oh yeah, this thing over here. Do you like za'atar?
Yeah, I actually like za'atar and
Oh yeah, za'atar is a great spice.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. It will
Just this, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pay. Just could you please?
Okay. Yeah, let me show you my favorite thing. There are just so many things to see. These are Israeli donuts. I don't know if you've heard about them. They're called sigvaniyot. And normally Israelis and Jews all around the world have them for Hanukkah, which doesn't help you to keep fit. But by the way, if you look around, you'll see that most of the Israelis are in a very, very good shape. So I guess this donuts are magic. So this was my favorite thing that when I lived in Israel. These are not like croissants. They're small ones with chocolate, very sugary, but I loved it. And all of this pastry, it's called burekasim. I loved it. Yeah, when I'm hungry and I'm not a very big fan of street food in general, like fast food. I'm more like into homemade, but this was really nice, and I had it a few days ago. Like these kind of things. I mean, I genuinely don't eat again this kind of food, but just to revive my feelings from 10 years ago.
Some stuff over there.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find it, I guess, like
Actually,
in some.
everywhere I think you can find this type of sweets. Everywhere in Tel Aviv.
But yeah, I mean, I think in Tel Aviv it's the number one neighborhood and area to go for it for sure.
We need to show this.
Yes.
Okay. I can say. So, dear all, I'm holding the drink of gods for winter time. When gods get a bit cold, they get this very interesting drink. It's called sachleb. And basically, see, it might look a bit ecky because it is starchy. Actually, this is the powder of a wild orchid. And you can make it, well, we should probably add some milk. You know, some people just add it into water. And then there is cinnamon, there is pistachios, nuts, coconut. And this is like one of the best drinks ever for winter time. It's very spread like throughout the Middle East, and this is the best place to take it. I mean, let's just have to see. Let's see the architecture, the walls, the Ottoman period stuff. This is just amazing, and it's still flourishing business. Again,
asking if it's like the produce. Yeah, we are going to
yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna need this.
Yeah, we're going to try it, and we're going to tell you. So Anna goes first, and I'll go second.
Shukran. Wow. Oh, shukran. No, amazing, amazing. I just think in Arabic. Tanya. Damn.
So let me take a bite in front of you. You see that?
You need to switch the camera, probably.
Yeah.
We only have two
No,
hands.
no, yeah.
It's not enough. 2 hands are not enough. 4 hands, even 4 hands are not enough.
It is really delicious, and I think this is really the best one I've tried.
I know.
I'm not genuinely a big fan of Middle Eastern sweets.
Neither am
they're
I.
Too sugary for me.
Yeah.
But this one is like really good, and I like that it's hot. Yeah. Can we finish the tour like and just?
Yeah, so we need to go. We really need to go.
I'm kidding, but yeah, it is really delicious. And what makes it more special that we are in a historical place.
Absolutely.
Let's show it again.
Yeah. You can have it. Enjoy it. I've already had one. Actually, I've already had one just before the tour started.
Oh,
I
really?
can hold it. Okay.
I think you can drink it as well, yeah?
It's too hot now. Right now it's a bit too hot to drink. Okay, we're leaving very soon. This magnetic place. The worst thing about this place is that it works 24/7. So if all of a sudden in the middle of the night you crave for a sahleb, it's here waiting for you.
And we can say the price.
Oh yeah, it's 20 shekels.
20 shekels is like $5.
Yeah. Oh, look at all these things. Look at all these things. The halva, the baklava. Oh yeah. Okay. I know. Some of you might be drooling. Look at when we just started the tour, Tanya was not that enthusiastic about getting a sachleb, but now she's really enjoying it.
You know, modern times versus old times complete and stuff order. It's really nice. So you can also see the prices here, and I'd say it's one of the cheapest things to eat in Israel. One of the things that really surprised me that I came back is how expensive Tel Aviv is now. It was always one of the most expensive cities in the world, but before it was like twice the price of everything in Moscow. Now it's 3 or 4 times the price, and it's insane. Like just really expensive. I paid 20 shekels for bread yesterday, which is the same that we paid for sachlib. But again, sachlib is something special and everything. So yeah, some of my videos will be focused on prices. Yeah, if you're coming to Israel, just be prepared to spend money in here. But the food is delicious. The food is great. And you can see the pastries in here are for 18 shekels, which is again approximately like $5. But I think in Israel, like we can actually talk about it. I think if you want to have lunch in a fast food place, that would be 50 shekels now, approximately just for a meal, like without a drink. And 50 shekels is approximately $15. Let me know how it sounds to you. Like for Russia, this is insanely expensive. I mean, I know that Moscow is super cheap now, but for this price, you can eat at a nice restaurant. And I'm actually preparing a video about how cheap lunches are in Moscow. Like you can just get a lunch for $5. So again, this is the reason why it is quite shocking for me to see all of these prices now, like after 10 years. I don't think that it is too expensive. Well, it depends on where you come from.
Well,
This is what
Karen
I'm
is from
saying,
UK.
yeah. Again, like if you're coming from Russia, it is like it's like
No,
no.
yeah,
And
no,
Sakhleb, I would say like it's not expensive. I would say the bread is like for $5 or what was it? No, but also like again, I was comparing like some beauty products, French cosmetics like Bioderma, if you know it. So it would be 3 times the price for the same cream that you can buy in Russia or in France. So
Why
that's
so-
about it.
Why is
Three
so
times.
expensive in Russia? Someone's asking. Why is that so expensive in Russia?
Because the salaries are really low and the average salary in many places would be like $500 a month. In some cities it can be $200 a month. And yeah, I mean it's I bought one of the cheapest iPhones in the world, which is crazy that even under sanctions things will be like so cheap in Russia. And I did also a video on why iPhone is so cheap. But again, it's just the difference in salaries and everything. And I'm not complaining or as New York City and everything. Yeah, I know that in New York it's also like super expensive. So yeah, you have like completely different worlds. So in some places, like once you go, like I've recently been to Vilnius and Poland, and there things are way more affordable. That's what I can say. No, in Georgia. Anna lives in Georgia, so you can also compare it to
Yeah,
Georgia.
I'm thinking, and I'm thinking, and I'm thinking. Actually, I would say when it gets to Georgia, some things are a lot cheaper than in Israel for sure, such as utility bills. I will never forget that, in Israel we pay our utility bills once in 2 months, and once for the for August. August is the hottest month in Israel, and it's just unbearable to stay in without a mazgan, air conditioner. And I just remember that for the time we received the utility bills, it was about 1,500 shekels just for the electricity. How much is this? I can't convert.
What? How many shekels?
1,500 shekels. It's like
We have to multiply like to ruble. Okay, I will just calculate it. In a second, I wanted to add that I think that most of the Israelis they don't have baths at home. Like they only have showers. In Russia, it's a normal thing, and all of my like relatives and friends they really care about the consumption of water, which is again it's a good thing all around the world. But in Russia, people are really careless, and you kind of forget about it when you come to Israel, and it's pretty noticeable because I'm staying with my friend, and I had too much like. Just recently, I had too much water for tea, and he was like, "Oh, why do you use so much water?" And I'm like, "Okay, like it's just different, like, and it takes time for you to adjust. Give me a second and I will calculate Anna's utilities bills. That's why we are together. So you have an accountant.
yeah, I have an accountant and also my sachle bearer. Okay, I'm going now over the chat to answer the possible questions you might have, and then I'll also very quickly fill you in about what we see here. Let me $400. It's just for the electricity plus water. Water was also about 1,000 shekels.
Shekels.
Yes, plus arnona, the tax you pay,
1,000 shekels is $266.
and arnona was let me think, like 700 shekels. Arnona, which is like
The land
yeah, it's kind of the you pay for.
880. So basically $1,000 only for
Yes,
utility bill.
yes, for utility
No,
bills, for tax.
in Russia, I think I pay like $60 or $80 a month. $60 or $80 a month. And again, I'm not saying that Russia is a good country. If you watch my channels, you know what I mean. But
She's a
again,
brave, brave, brave
yeah.
girl.
But you know, like different countries, different salaries, different worlds. It is what it is. We are comparing how things different, and I can't imagine, by the way, how brave someone like Anna, how many immigrants could come to Israel. Because I was 22 when I made Aliyah. Made Aliyah, meaning like moved to Israel, and at that time, I was pretty careless. I didn't really think, oh, I need a job to support this, and I was like, oh yeah, I graduated from the best university in Russia, so everything will be easy. And now I'm just thinking,
About it.
everything is so expensive. Like, how can you do this? How can you do that? And a friend of mine has recently opened a bar, and I'm helping out him there. So I can see how in Israel, yeah, I'm also here to help him at his bar, and I can see how difficult it is. Like, it's so challenging for new immigrants. So again, you're also a very brave girl to me in many many senses. For yeah, and
Oh, thank
yeah.
you. Thank you so much. So let me, you can enjoy some sachlip while I'm giving some boring history stuff, just because, just to fill you in where we are. But I promise that I will film everything. I'm leaving tomorrow evening, but I will have time. I've already made like hours of footage in Jerusalem when I did my Ish Talmud. And also, I will be filming some Jaffa during the day. It's beautiful, it's lovely. And yeah, well, definitely we'll be doing a tour about Jaffa, like 100%. I know history is never boring, but we're having so much fun. But anyway, I'll just quickly fill you in. So, you might have noticed that there is here a mosque, the minaret of a mosque. And when we were talking, I just need to go back a little bit because it's important and it's actually connected with everything. Do you mind going a little bit backwards just to show something over there? So the mosque that you can see, well, this is all the territory of the mosque, and this is the mosque was one of the biggest in Jaffa, and it's the main mosque now, the Jaffa Great Mosque it's called, and it was built in actually, it's interesting the history. Well, let's say mid 19th century, but actually older. So it would be just rebuilt and extended by Abu Nabut, who was the sultan here. And well, it's Ottoman times. And you know what? Actually, everywhere in Israel where I am, where I was, there would be connection with Ashkelon because Tanya probably not know it, but Abu Nabut also got lots of construction material from Ashkelon. Well, he destroyed Crusader and Mamluk architecture, so lots of columns like Roman, Crusader times. This is all there. Oh, look at this beautiful lamp. I'm not even sure what the word is, but it's just beautiful. Obviously, we cannot enter in general, not because there's no entry here, but in general we cannot. But there's one thing that we didn't show you is that, so what is Jaffa? What is so famous for other than the cedar wood for the first temple that was delivered all the way from Lebanon to here 3,500 years ago? It's not even about that. Jaffa flourished also under the Ottomans in the second half of the 19th century because this is when the pilgrimage to the Holy Land was finally allowed by the Ottomans. I talk a lot about it on my virtual tours, but I'll just go very briefly about it. And Jaffa in mid 19th century, oh, there's a kitty here, was the entry point because here is the sea. I promise we will show you the sea. But everybody would be coming to Jaffa from all over the world, pilgrims, the first immigrants, so the waves of Aliyot. Actually, they came here not because Jaffa was so great. Jaffa was really small, congested and dirty because of overpopulation. Everybody wanted to see and wanted to go to Jerusalem. So what we're looking at actually, the former gates to Jerusalem. It's called Jerusalem Gates. Doesn't even look like gates, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But actually, well, there used to be, and if you take a look where you walk, I'll show you, there would be different types of paving. Actually, here used to be the wall And there used to be the entrance to the old city because, like every old city, there used to be a fortress that protected it from the onslaughts, numerous onslaughts. And in Jerusalem, there is Jaffa Gate because this is exactly where you eventually would have been taken to if you traveled from this Jaffa Gate, from the Jerusalem Gate. You would have been taken to the Jaffa Gate in Jerusalem, where I just was a few hours ago. I had 2 days of very intense courses. There is a word for it in Hebrew, Talmud. And I don't know how to translate that into English, but basically, this is the mandatory course you should take every year as a licensed tour guide, just to renew your license every year. That's just it. Okay. How is your Sahleb doing?
I'm just counting the calories. And I think how much I'll have to walk around Israel. But it's actually pretty easy to stroll around, and it's not noticeable. I think we'll show everyone the sea.
Okay, so Dole is saying Ishtalmut advanced study. Okay, that works for me. That works for me. So Tanya, you wanted to burn some calories, so we're going uphill.
Yeah. So I can actually show you the temperature now. It's 21 degrees Celsius, which is the perfect weather in my opinion. And
Absolutely.
November, I think, is one of the best times for someone like me who doesn't like heat to come to Israel because the weather is just perfect. Although you cannot swim now because, when I came here, it was 28 degrees Celsius just a few days ago. But people were not swimming in here. And when I lived in Jaffa, it was also mainly Israelis living in here. I don't know if you mentioned, but these days, and when I moved to Israel, Jaffa was also considered as the main Arab area, as the main Muslim area. That's why there is a mosque in here. And obviously, once you walk around, once you go into the beach, you will see a big Arab community. But normally, they don't swim. And in Israel, when I lived here, locals were saying oh yeah, they're not that much into the sea and swimming. So let's show everyone the view and the cannons.
Yeah, so we needed to burn some calories. So we are going up. So we've got uphill to show you the view from here, from this one of the highest points, not still the highest one. Tel Aviv actually, it's well, there is different versions of what the name is, but it's quite easy. So Tel means a hill. However, it's not just a geographical hill. I mean, it's because also this is a mound comprised of multiple layers, historical layers. And Aviv is spring, so the hill of spring. But it's also the combination of the old, because tells are ancient mounds, and Aviv is spring, the beginning. So it's the combination of the old and new. And I think Jaffa is the best illustration of it, absolutely. And without this city, to where the first immigrants and pilgrims would be coming, there wouldn't have been the city that you see right now over there, which is exactly the first Jewish city, because it wasn't shaped in Jaffa. It was shaped a little bit to the distance from here, a little bit. Actually, yesterday I did a very pop-up, very spontaneous tour of Neve Tzedek. This was actually one of the very first neighborhoods built still in the Ottoman times. The land was purchased from the Ottomans, and it was all official, absolutely legit. And this is, I would say, this is where everything started. There are so many beaches and swimming pools in Israel. Learning to swim is a must. Actually, speaking of the Arab community here, there is, by the way, in Jaffa there is quite a big Arab Christian community.
Looking at about the skyscrapers. Even though this is the image you might find on Google when you search for Tel Aviv, but for me, Tel Aviv is not about skyscrapers. It's actually about like this old houses from the beginning of the 20th century, and for obvious reasons, there are not that many skyscrapers, because of the constant attacks. So yeah, it's impressive to see that there are more and more skyscrapers in Tel Aviv. Like when I lived here, they were a lot less. Had not heard her until today. Have seen Anna's stories now. Yeah, the view is really beautiful, and this is, I would say, most popular images. But I agree with Anna that Tel Aviv is not about the pictures. It's about the vibe and people. At least that's for me. Like for me, most of the cities that I go to are generally about people, cafes, lifestyle. That's also why, like, one of my most popular tours on Heygo and other platforms was everyday life in Moscow. But this is also what I'm interested in because honestly, like, you can agree with me that Tel Aviv is not really about this beautiful architecture compared to Paris and Rome. Nevetstatic, the neighborhood that Anna mentioned, is actually considered to be the most beautiful one, and it's the most European because it was constructed by European Jews. But what makes the city special is that it has Jews and other people, people of other nationalities coming from all over the world. So it's kind of like a melting pot of different cultures, and yeah, and everything is just in front of you. That is, for me, what makes it so special.
Yeah, so there is one question that I would like to address about the minarets, and there's one more question about how can Russians travel now because of all the sanctions. So Tanya will definitely go on that. And as for the minarets normally are as high. I would say they're proportionally high, depending on the number of people living in the neighborhood. Well, for example, from here you can see that it's quite a high minaret. That's because actually you can see two sections, the one that are lit, one and two. So originally it was much smaller, but then when Jaffa grew, and also there were other neighborhoods built around, such as Manshia, but actually Manshia has its own minaret too. So minaret is the tower that belongs to a mosque, from where muezzin would be calling the Muslims for prayer 5 times a day. And well, it was extended. There was just this very top section was added a little bit later. I don't know exactly when, by the way. And yeah, so now question about how Russians can travel. Yeah.
Russians can travel. They can travel to North Korea. Russians can travel. They can travel to North Korea, and I'm not kidding. There are tours to North Korea getting popular. Iran is also on the top of the list. Some other African countries, no. But if, like, seriously, there are still countries that didn't cancel Russia, like Armenia, Turkey, the Emirates, and many Russians go there. If you're asking, and Israel actually is also one of the countries where you can go to, you can take a direct flight. It's not cheap for Russians, and I think for Europe, it's also not cheap. I paid $300 for my flight from Moscow to Israel, which actually was the cheapest one.
Hold on a second.
$300
No, why did you pay 300 and I paid 500?
to come from Moscow.
I came from Tbilisi. How come it's $200 more?
Okay. I paid in advance, and actually it was a bit less, and everyone else paid. I think like 400, but my flight was postponed twice, and it was rescheduled. They changed the airports or whatever. But if you're asking about like European countries and American countries, it's pretty difficult for Russians to get a visa to go anywhere. But there are still options. Like if you receive a humanitarian visa, which I know that many of my friends and colleagues were able to obtain in Germany, you can become a student in one of the countries. So there are still options. And normally people apply for visas outside of Russia in countries like Georgia. And Anna actually can talk more about Georgian diaspora or like Georgian Russian community in Georgia. So yeah, I've been waiting for my German visa for almost a year. So no luck to apply from Russia. So that is one of the reasons why I'm here in Israel. What do you think about the view? And in terms of the time, in case you don't know, let me show you. It's almost
Okay, like this, otherwise it will be too blurry.
voila.
Okay.
It's almost 10 p.m.
I want to show the Saint Peter.
Take the microphone.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously there is a very now big proportion of Russians living in Georgia, Russians that have fled after immediately after February events in 2022, and also after the partial mobilization was announced. And by the way, officially it's not over yet. Probably never will be. And there, I would say that. Well, the it's interesting that even like when you compare the waves of immigration in, I would say, Russian immigration to Israel, like in the previous years, this immigration wave is very different. So this aliyah is very different. Those are intellectuals. Those are people that actually had everything. Everything was all right in there. I mean, they had a good job. They're mostly in, well, many of them are mostly in IT, not necessarily good education, and for most of them this is a big downshifting. That's not easy, but hopefully this will bring change and only help the country. And the same in Georgia. There's mostly people from with IT, or, well, let's say, some very interesting and, I would say, perspective fields. By the way, I see some tips coming in. Thank you so much, first of all, for supporting us. And also, I would like to remind you that please, when you send us the donation, please make sure you leave a comment for Anya and Tanya, so we would know exactly the tips that we need to share. Yeah, I mean, 50-50. And in the meantime, this is one of my favorite places to go in Jaffa, to see the St. Peter's Church. Amazing 19th century architecture. Actually, quite a bunch of Christian sites in old Jaffa. And also, just there is also a neighborhood basically comprised of monasteries, religious schools, just a little bit to the side when the on Pasteur Street and others, lots of them. And yeah, so on the one hand, it is still one of the neighborhoods with actually very big Arab population, but as I said, many of them, there are many Arab Christians as well.
It actually doesn't feel like Tel Aviv. This street, not this street, this square. Like it's very different architecture. And let's take a look at the graffiti below. So what I love about Tel Aviv, and what I think makes this city special, is that you have so many beautiful street, so much beautiful art all around you if you're a fan of it. And sometimes it's really creative, it's really meaningful. I've also noticed many works related to the 7th of October last year, like Bring Them Home and other things like that. So I'm afraid, like, I think that is what Moscow and many other cities miss, because you have so many, like, talented artists. And it's great that Tel Aviv gives them an opportunity to shine. And what Jaffa is also known for, at least for me, and when I came here, was flea market. It's the best known flea market in Tel Aviv. And generally, like, flea markets, secondhand stores are pretty popular in Israel. Like, I know that it's probably not everywhere around the world, and in Moscow we don't have that many places. But here you have one of the best secondhand bookstores in the world. There are many things that people actually leave on the streets. There are some, like, new clothes, new or old furniture, and it all feels like you're part of a big community.
So what we are looking at, thank you, Tanya, for the insights. So this is the Zodiac Fountain. Since Tanya just mentioned that this is a very artsy neighborhood and lots of talented and creative people also moved in, not just IT, but also artists, designers. Actually, Jaffa is well now known. I would say starting from the second half of the 20th century is known as the artsy neighborhood. With the flea market is a little bit to the side from here, and it's already closed. It closes quite early. But other than that, the concept around here, the streets are named after zodiac signs and the fountains, and there are zodiac signs mosaics in the neighborhood. And since you asked me whether I can travel to Russia, yes, I can. Nobody can stop me from that. But I probably consider it twice, maybe three times before actually for actually going there for a number of reasons. And but I terribly miss home because Russia, St. Petersburg will always be my home, no matter what, and I will always remain Russian. So nobody can change that, and it's not like that. I really want to change that. And yes, so there's also a question whether Georgia is concerned about the Russian expansion. Yes, it is. The country is really very much concerned about it, and. In a lot of the current events, even either I would say the concerns are even bigger. But I guess this it's also important to understand that the there's politics and there are just people. These are two very different things. So politics actually is never because of the normal people, just people. It's something different. However, it should be it should be different.
Yeah, I mean, about Georgia, I can actually talk a lot about Georgia because my boyfriend is Georgian and I've been to Georgia many times. So this country has a special place in my heart. And current events are important for Georgia in Georgians because of what happened to Georgia in 2008. This tour today is not really about politics, but if you are interested in it, let me know or you can Google. Meanwhile, I want to show you a very special word, ahava, which means love. And we send you love and hugs. And especially under everything that is happening in this world, I think we all need love and love. This is what everyone needs. Cosmetics and yeah, and this ahava, the reason why it's here because it's I think it's one of the best known Israeli brands, or maybe even the best known Israeli brand, at least that when I lived in Israel it was considered to be the best cosmetics brand from Israel, and you can buy it in Russia, in many other countries. Like I've seen it in France. Let me know if you've ever seen this brand, but it's a good one. Like there are all types of cosmetics you can find in Israel, but Ahava, it's a nice one.
Okay. So right now we are going to the port, and the road, the path to the port goes through the old city, the walls of which are pretty thick. So at some point the connectivity might get a bit patchy, or we might even be frozen. But be assured that it's gonna be fine the moment we reach the water. So just bear with us, okay? In the meantime, there is just the beautiful alleyways of old Jaffa that make Jaffa such a special place. Thank you. Okay, so we're going. Let's go. And I'm not going into very detailed stories here, so I promise I will be running the old Jaffa tour the normal way. But this is about catching the moment, making memories, and just enjoying the quietness. Oh yeah, okay, sure, we can also do that. Just one thing that I would like to show is over here. There is that house over there. Actually, oh, that's interesting because these things, I haven't been here for a while. I haven't done tour in Jaffa for a while, but there are so many things that actually kind of imprinted in you because I know that actually people live here. It's still residential area, and that's why whenever guides come here, even when I just come here all alone, I try to turn down the volume. So that's why I'll be speaking quieter. But let's come here. Over there, there is the house that is according to a tradition.
There's a question: is it safe to be out night here in Jaffa or in Tel Aviv in general? Or you can talk about Jaffa, and I can talk about my area, my neighborhood.
Yeah, well, when I asked my teacher, Professor Yalmiron, whether it's safe, he told me that generally yes, but things still not the same. So I used to feel absolutely safe here before the 7th of October, but actually I feel quite safe. I was a bit nervous actually, and I'm so happy that I have a company. Probably wouldn't have come here all alone, but when I came and had my sachleb, I just felt at so much ease. So, and before Tanya gets down to her story, the house over here. Again, more details on one of my next tours, but according to a tradition, this is the house where a very important thing happened, where Apostle Peter, well, the story for the Christianity, remind you, we are in the Ottoman period town, in the Jewish state, and we are talking about Christianity. So this is called the Tabitha house, or the house of a tanner. This is where Peter, according to the tradition, cured the girl Tabitha, and after that, well, the girl used to live in one of the houses, and then Peter was too late to go back home. Peter used to live somewhere around the modern day Lod, the town of Lod, and he was offered to stay here for the night. And this is where he saw that dream that, God talked to him, and in the dream he saw lots of non-kosher food, and this is when Peter realized that he could convert all the other people, the Gentiles, the Jews, into Christianity. So one of the very important events in Christianity actually happened here also. So it's not just only about the vibe. But again, in more details on some of my following tours. So now getting back to Tanya, the floor is yours.
So I don't want to spoil the party, but I'm staying in South Tel Aviv, and if you've ever been to Tel Aviv, you probably know that the South Tel Aviv is the most dangerous area, and once you go to north, it gets better and better. And the most expensive area, not only in Tel Aviv but in Israel in general, is the north of Tel Aviv. And I also lived in this area. It was called Ramat Aviv. So what makes South Tel Aviv, where I live, so special is that this is the area where you have many I'm just trying, like, asylum seekers, refugees. So you generally don't really see locals in this area. There are many like drug addicts and things like that. They're trying to bring more locals to this area, so they've started constructing new residential buildings, and this is where I live with my friend. But honestly, going back there in the evening, like around this time, may not be really comfortable. So I generally take the main routes. I don't really go through like small streets. And this is what everyone knows. Like, if people don't live in South Tel Aviv, they generally don't go there unless it's Florentine. But Florentine is not the area close to the bus station. Like, it's still 30 minutes walk from where I'm staying. So again, it depends on the areas everywhere in the world. Yeah.
I'll just show one of the passageways where normally my signal disappear. I just want to zoom it in so you will just see the alleyways, but we are going to the sea.
Ты через сколько хочешь закончить?
Мы закончим через 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we are going. Yeah, we were just discussing what time we would finish the tour. So probably in around 10 minutes we will wrap up the tour. So if you have any questions about Israel, Russia, our lives, or anything, please let us know so we will have time to answer. In case not, you're always welcome to join our upcoming tours and videos about Israel, Russia, Georgia, and many other places in the world. Yeah, Jaffa is really special, and it may not really feel like, again, the rest of Tel Aviv. So you're more than welcome to join other tours and my tours to explore other places. And what also has changed for tourists is that now you have this information stands, and it's here, it's written the Ottoman wall, and you have the information in Hebrew, in Arabic, and in English. In case you didn't know, there are two official languages in Israel. It's Hebrew and Arabic, and anywhere you go, you will see Arabic. So I think it's great for tourists just to have this information stands, because when I lived here, maybe I don't remember them, but I think they were like it, and it also looks new. So it's great that it becoming.
Say the name of your channel once again.
So my channel is Alternative Russia with Tanya. So for now, yeah, if anyone, I will just join the tour and I will write it. Or if anyone is able, yeah, to write it, feel free. Let me just, yeah. I will just use my phone to share the link.
Yeah. So because also the number of characters for a comment is limited, we just left the most important information about where the tips go about that. So we are now in the area that used to be that very first port, where probably the wood for the first temple was delivered on, and also where the first immigrants would arrive and the first pilgrims would arrive. Um, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. There's also somebody's going to put the link, but you can also. Oh, I can hear myself. Ваша мама тут там показывает.
Yeah. Can show me. Hello.
Hello. Right. Interesting. Okay, this is really interesting. And actually, I think this is good that, well, right now you see there's a lot of construction going on, and the port actually has been needing these reconstruction for a while, and I guess they're just using this challenging times to prepare for the peaceful times. When I know that once everything is over, there will be crowds of tourists. I know that. I know. I just can't wait for it to happen. In the meantime, also, we are now going to find a beautiful spot by the sea to read your comments and questions and address them as well. And these buildings, actually, it's not just buildings, they're also part of the fortification, which is not existent anymore. This used to be in the 19th century. And this is now mostly, those used to be Airbnbs. But in general, Jaffa is a residential area where people live, so mostly Arab population. But it's not just the dead, the dead museum city, and it's vibrant. But yes, I would say that the vibe of old Jaffa is different from Tel Aviv, very different. But I guess to understand the phenomenon of Tel Aviv, it's important to. Will we actually pass here? Will we be able to pass? No.
We can go there.
No, it's
Like over there.
over there. Yeah. So this has changed. This wasn't here before, like that. The railings. I'm not sure why. That's probably for the
There
cars.
are many construction works also happening in Tel Aviv, and again in the area where I live in South Tel Aviv, there will be a tram. Yeah, it will be a tram, not a train. So, yeah, Levinsky Street. So, yeah, I mean, I can see it, and things keep changing, but I would say it still has the same atmosphere as it was 10 years ago, and it's great. that life, life goes on.
I'm going over the comments, and I will read out loud some of the questions.
Yeah, let me also check the comments. I can actually check it from my phone as well.
Yeah, sure.
Lots of steps. So your feet. I can check actually how many steps I had today. Oh, well, it's not that much. Only 13,000.
Oh, it's nothing. 13,000
Yeah,
is
yeah, it's
nothing.
nothing.
It's like you just spend all day lying on the sofa
No,
going
no,
to the
it's true.
gym.
It's true. I'm a bit sick because, well, because of the temperature differences and everything. So yeah, this is pretty much my first day walking around. So I take it slow, but genuinely, what I like is that I don't really notice all the steps I take in Tel Aviv. It's pretty easy to walk around the area, and because there's just so many interesting places, meaning like cafes, shops, and things that are creative. And on my tours, I also generally say that the city. It is about history, and it is important to know what is behind it, what is behind the names of the streets. But at the same time, what really makes it this particular city and not another one is people, like, because you can have like Starbucks, McDonald's everywhere in the world, but what makes it different, the people, the creativity. So for me it's also interesting to explore everyday's life of people and to see what I could learn from it.
So there's also a question about your dad. How was your
My
dad
dad,
doing?
my dad is fine. What can I say? Yeah, he's worried about me because I'm a bit sick. But yeah, he's doing his best under the circumstances.
I'm going over the comments as well.
Levinsky is one appetizing sweets, too many delis. Yeah, and well, in this street you also have like Indian food. There are many stores from also people representing other ethnicities, which is very diverse. And it is an interesting neighborhood, and there are many NGOs, humanitarian organizations. When I lived in Israel 10 years ago, I actually worked for Amnesty International Israel. I worked with refugees, and I worked for another organization called Kavlovet. You can still find videos that I made for them, like the testimonials with the migrant workers. So I spent actually a lot of time in this area, and all the locals were saying like, "You're crazy. You shouldn't go there. If people don't actually have to go there, they like." And Anna, I think she has never done a tour in this area, and I still don't know whether it's okay, like whether it's safe, because a few days ago a friend of mine said like, once you pass by, don't show your phone there. It's actually answering the question about how safe it is. Yeah, again, in that area, it's quite well known that you have to be careful. Like you. So, are there any other question?
I heard and read that Jaffa is known primarily for, well, no, it disappears. So
Because it's mostly for young people, like hipsters. I Well, I've also heard about it. When I moved to Tel Aviv, and my first address was Jaffa. Yeah, I would say like there were many hipsters back then, and my first flatmate was a true hipster. Was it true? And she was like, and I was also a hipster. I'll be honest with you, and I was well, like one of the first hipsters in Russia. But she was a true Israeli hipster, which, if you describe like Russian hipsters, they would be like, oh, Starbucks, Apple, iPhone, and everything. Which I'm not really like that, but still, in Israel it would be more about vintage. It would be about more like hippie, and she was like very liberal. She worked in a vintage store. Very interesting girl, and again, I have many good memories about living here with my flatmate in Jaffa. And I mean, in general, I like I like diversity, learning about other cultures, and even though again Tel Aviv and Israel is mainly about like Jewish culture, but it's also so diverse, and there are many people coming from all over the world, like Russia. A friend I'm staying with, he came from France. So France, the United States, the United Kingdom, like so many people, and we are still in the Middle East, and this is one of the kind country in the Middle East. There's no other country like Israel. I mean, every country is special, but there are just so many things that make Israel unique, at least for me. Um, you can disagree with me, and let me give you the
Yeah,
microphone.
sure. Will you go over the comments? Just
Thank you, Natasha. I would be more
thank
than happy
you.
to see you on my channel. Thank you for interesting. Thank you. Yeah, I'm also Tanya. I remember Lalila. What's going on with her? Lalila. She's
Oh,
Lila.
Lila,
Anna actually
Lila.
knows
I
her.
know
Yeah.
Lila.
So Lila,
She's in Haifa.
yes, no, she's not in Haifa. She's in Georgia. She's in Batumi.
No,
So
she left.
she's in Georgia now.
Now again?
Yeah. So long story short, Lila, she's the one who made virtual tours, like virtual concerts with me. And she's an amazing singer. I can also share a link with you to her channel. She's a great songwriter. So after the beginning of the war in Ukraine, she moved to Israel. She lived near Haifa. Then she moved to Georgia. Then she moved to Israel again, and now she moved to Georgia. She lives in Batumi.
Again.
Yes, so it's quite difficult, and there are many Russians like that who moved to Israel
Yeah.
after February 2022, and then they moved to Georgia. So it's, well, what can we say? We live in historical times. And I'm also trying to move to another country, but yeah, this is the story for another tour.
Yeah. Wow. So this has been like it's been already over an hour that we are roaming down the streets, and I mean the topics are never ending, but I would really like to ask Tanya somewhere for a drink. It was a long day, or so we definitely need something. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Once again, there is a pinned comment on the very top of the chat. You can see the links. Those are my PayPal and my Buy Me a Coffee. But we agree with Tanya that all the tips for this tour, please make sure to put the comment for Anya and Tanya. And if you forgot, well, I'll figure it out. But it will make things a lot easier for me to calculate because we're sharing, we're split on 50-50 all the tips. So thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure you follow Tanya. Make sure you subscribe to her channel and like her videos. Please also subscribe to my channel. Well, if you're here, you probably know. But also, likes never hurt, comments never hurt, especially if they're not hurtful. So I think this is a good thing to say, to point out. And yeah, so as I said, I have already made tons of footage of Jerusalem, different areas, and I will be making more footage of Jaffa during the day. And for this weekend, I've already have some tours scheduled on my website anyaguy.com. You can find my complete schedule. A couple more tours will be added shortly, the live walks in Tbilisi. And now for the last time, I'm going to go over the chat. Tanya's going to go over the chat.
Anna and Tanya in my tip is on Anna's PayPal. Okay, thank you for letting us know,
Yeah.
Anilin. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can use either PayPal or Buy Me a Coffee. That's totally fine. Again, before we started the tour, I asked Tanya how she would like to do this. So thank you for your trust. So I think it's just the easiest way to
Yeah,
do that.
for everyone. I think it's better for everyone. And thanks for inviting me to your channel. Thanks for joining
Absolutely.
this virtual tour. It was a bit spontaneous, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm really glad to meet Anna here in Israel. Can you imagine? We are both from Russia. We were both in Georgia, and
Yeah.
like you never know where you can meet, and maybe next time we'll meet somewhere else. So
In
yeah, I'm
Peru.
really
In
thankful
Peru.
for this opportunity, and I hope you enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, thank you everyone
Well,
for joining.
and you can say whether this video will be available. I guess it will be
Yes,
available on
yeah,
my channel.
absolutely. And feel free to also feature it on your socials. Yes, this video is going to be available. So if you join us somewhere halfway through or just join us, yeah, it's going to be available. And also, I try to follow all the comments and reply. So we are there. You know where to find us. And yeah, so good luck with everything, Tanya.
Thank you. You too. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.
Love, peace, hugs, and see you soon. See you soon. Yes, I'm going to work on my videos in Israel, and
Awesome.
I'm actually started
Oh,
doing it. So
I can't
see you.
wait. I can't wait. I love your videos. They're so insightful.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you.
Bye bye, everyone. Oh, we should do this. I guess we should do this for a. Yeah, please. A selfie,
And you can
please.
have a screenshot. You can
Yeah,
take a
please.
screenshot.
Oh, this is iconic. Thank you. Bye bye.